Hi, I'm Kim,
And I'm Torra.
and this is our podcast, newly relabeled Kicking It with Kim and Torra. Thank you so much for joining us today. As you know, we have a new format, four topics, 15 minutes each. And with that said, we're going to dig right into the first topic. And our first topic tonight, Torra, is Africa. You wanted to talk about
I
what's
definitely
going on in
do.
Africa?
I definitely do because right now, South Africa is, what they're showing us is it's burning, and I had two ways I feel about it. Some of it, I'm a little sad because I see that some black businesses are taking casualties in this. I guess it's a new apartheid. It's falling under that, and but there's 95% of these are corporate people that are being kicked out and asked to leave, which I'm proud of because I can never get over the fact that Africa is 100% black, and it's been taken over by big businesses. It's been taken over by corporations. It's been taken over by foreigners, and I hate it. I absolutely hate it. So when I see that it has to be, in my words, torn down to be rebuilt, I'm like, go for it. Go for it. A lot of people might not like that and like, why do you have to tear things down? Why do you have to? You taught them that. The originator of destruction taught them to burn it all down, destroy it all, and rebuild it as your own. So why should we take anything less? You know?
So, I don't know. I mean, I think that there's an easier way to take your country back if the Western countries would stay out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, in Zimbabwe, a former president, Robert Mugabe, wanted to give all the land back to the African citizens because when the countries were colonized, the white folks had all the land, the black folks had nothing. And the West came in and started doing sanctions and all
Yeah.
this and that, and they do too much. But that's really all that needs to happen in South Africa is they need to redistribute the land back to the black Africans who have been pushed out of land. And I think that that would pretty much resolve the problem. I don't necessarily think you should burn down to rebuild. I think they should just, like in Gambia, the former president Yahya Jammeh came up with a rule that no white people could have bars on the beach. And in order to operate a bar on the beach, you have to at least partner. Only Gambians could do it, or you could do it in partnership with Gambians. So there are ways to just say to them, look, give us our stuff back. You colonize our land, our country.
I think
You
when
took
it's
our
there, they don't
land.
give it up that easy. I feel like that's what war is about. I don't believe no one who lives in a mansion owns a big factory is gonna just walk away from it. I don't believe that. I mean, that's just my opinion. I
But
don't believe you would hand over, not you, but people hand over their empires, their wealth that easy and say, okay, you're right. We stole it, we robbed it, we took it, we kicked you out, we here, you can have it back. I don't believe that. I believe you have to say no. You
I'm
can't
not
have,
suggesting that they will voluntarily give it back. I'm suggesting that the government decree that we're taking it back and we're redistributing it to the original people that that land belongs
I
to. And
believe
in
the
the
government.
Gambia, even till today, there
Mhm.
are no white-owned bars on the beach. Now they have a new president, so that may change, but he just made a rule. You can't do it. I'm not going to allow you to do it, and nobody's doing it. But you know, in South Africa, they're not rioting because of land distribution or anything
No,
like that.
no, they're not
They're
writing for
rioting
that.
because the former president of the country was put
Right.
in jail.
Yeah, he was put in jail and they wanted him to go in front of a committee and basically degrade him and sanction him, and he wasn't going for it, so they rose up in support of him. So my thing is this: in the uprising, they said, hey, you know what, they went into the prisons. It's
I
hard to
saw that. Oh,
they
you sent me that. They let people out of the prisons.
they
Mhm.
didn't let them out, they broke in there and let them out.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
The people who were
Oh yeah.
protesting broke
Mhm.
into the prisons and let them
And
out.
I knew that was going to happen. And I kept saying to everybody who would listen, this is going to trickle down because people are thinking, everybody's thinking the same thing. It's not fair. You're not playing by the same game and the same rules you're telling us to play by. So no one wants to listen anymore. No one's going to listen anymore. Once social media showed the world that everyone else in the world is not playing by the same rules, that the game that they've laid down for us all to play, no one else is playing it. It's not going to work anymore.
It
You
never did. It was always that way, and we always knew it. Like you
no,
said,
you know
there
it
was
like that.
apartheid in South Africa, and in apartheid, the whites took all the abundant land and put all the blacks into shanty towns, and that has been going on for a long time. We knew that back in college. We were protesting for the university to
But
divest its
but
funds from
such a
South Africa.
minute cared to watch and see. Now there the world has to care and the world is seeing. I don't believe that the television portrayed it the way it should have been portrayed. I don't think media portrayed it and even gave its just due. But social media, the new world order that we're under, where Big Brother is on 24/7, you can't deny it anymore. From your 12-year-old to your 21-year-old to your 50-year-old to your 90-year-old, we all see it now. So now everybody sees the injustice that's been happening. Yes, we knew it, but it wasn't in your face. It
Now,
wasn't.
maybe everybody just wasn't aware. We always knew it. We protested for divestiture. We protested. I literally got out and marched against apartheid. We knew. We talked about it all the time. We called it a modern day Jim Crow that was happening in South Africa. We knew. We knew loud and clear, and we fought against it.
And
So I don't think this, well, maybe social media has allowed other people to know it, but
that's
we've known
that's
it for a
my
very
point.
long time.
That's my point. My point is social media. I mean, I go back to the George Floyd when I watched everyone in every single country get out in the street and say, "I cannot breathe." That to me let me know the world was watching. Now, when that was just one tragedy. Now imagine another mass tragedy that gets captured and the people that will come out and support. That's what I believe this is. There's so much support now because everybody knows. Like you heard about it, you read about it. So the media let you see some of it. Yeah, I knew about the parts. I knew that we boycotted Nike. I knew that we boycotted Coca-Cola. I knew about all of that. But the world that I was in, nobody cared to know. Now the world
Oh,
is
well, the world I was in, we cared to know and we knew. And we talked about it, we protested, we did everything we could think to do. And apartheid has been over for a long time, but they Mandela talked about redistributing the land, but he never did a daggone thing.
that's my
And
point.
so, but I mean, I don't feel like I know any more than I used to know, but I do think you raise a valid point that there are a lot of people who didn't know or
Mhm.
maybe just heard about it and
Well,
now
even
they
if
know.
they knew, it wasn't so gut wrenching back to them like it
Was
is
to us.
now.
It was to us
Yeah, it
because
was to
Black
us.
people needed a pass. In apartheid,
Mhm.
Black people needed a pass akin to a passport to travel from one town to another. It was horrible to us. We knew all of that, and it was a problem,
But what I'm
but
saying is,
maybe
just
everybody
because we know, just because Black people know, things we can make things move. But when the world knows and the world doesn't like it,
Laura, I don't think apartheid is a good example. I think that I agree with you about social media bringing things to the forefront,
Mhm.
but the whole world knew about apartheid. The
No, no,
whole
no. I'm not saying
world,
the whole world didn't know about
it
apartheid.
was in our faces. It was a major crisis.
Mhm.
It was in the 80s. We all protested, divested, all that
But,
kind of stuff.
but the impact shows that no one, well, not no one, but the impact shows that people were not willing to just risk their life and all
But
in
they did.
abundance. No,
But
no,
they
no.
did.
You
There's
didn't
a
see
big
people
white.
in Germany, white people in Germany fighting for these people. You didn't see white people in Italy fighting for these. You didn't see white people in Spain. Now you see people across the world saying,
Well, we did see it back then. I did see it back then.
I didn't.
I did see the mass riots in Soweto and them gunning people down. I was aware of all of that. It was a
You
really big thing
saw
back then.
you saw white people gunning white people down?
I
happened?
saw white people in South Africa gunning down black people
That's what I'm
who were
saying.
breaking
That's
up in
original.
protest.
That's original. Now it's white people helping black people fight for this right and
And
getting
how are they doing that? Because the last things I've seen, the white people are now crying and
no, no,
complaining,
no.
but
Those are the ones who are losing everything or crying. I'm talking about people who
no,
have
I mean like in the last 6 months.
Mhm.
If you go back to social media, you see now they have begun showing stories of white South Africans who were living in poverty, which was unheard of before, because the black people have been regaining their rights. So this has been going on from my perspective for a long time. And the reason they're burning and rioting and everything is not because of any of the land distribution, is really because of the jailing of the president. But
Yeah,
maybe
but
around here,
through that, that was just like the straw that broke the camel's back. But through that, people are like, and we're sick and tired of being sick and tired. So it was like a whole manifestation that just came to a head. I mean, yes, the president definitely was the Pandora's box that opened, but once it was open, all this other stuff and all these other
and
emotions.
so what are white people doing in support of them? Because I don't
I
follow
mean, from
anything.
what
What
I've
are they
been hearing
doing?
and reading, I haven't heard. I mean, of course, the white folks, and well, I call them the corporate white folks because they're the only people that stand to lose. If you're in poverty, then you definitely understand why these people are rioting, because they're like, look, this we're 90% or 99% here, and we own 1% of nothing. So I understand there are white people around the world who understand that. And I've been hearing them speak on social media like, look, people, get out of their country. Like, you can't pretend that you're a white South African or a white
Oh, I have
African.
been hearing that debate. Yes, I
Yeah.
have been hearing. You're
And
right.
I'm
I've been hearing
proud
that.
for them to say that. I'm like, thank you for saying that, because I know that. Now you know that. And I'm glad you're saying it, because now you don't sound as ignorant as everybody else who's like, but they're African. No, you're not.
Yeah, it is ignorant as everybody.
I can't say I'm Asian. Even if my parents were in the military and for some reason they gave birth to me in Asia, I can't claim Asian. I can't say I'm Asian. I am black, and I would be black, United States American black. And that's that. So you can't just be born in Africa and then all of a sudden you want to say that you're African because you're Caucasian. That's just not right to me. To
But
me.
the white South Africans, I was trying to find that thing, the video to show you, they're looting too. But just like the mainstream media does here, they're doing that in South Africa as well. They only show the black people and use it as an opportunity to say they're taking TVs and tennis shoes or whatever, but they never show that white people loot too, and they are looting now.
And even if they do show it, the narrative isn't the same. It's they're surviving. They're
Yeah,
doing this.
true,
They'll show it, but they'll put
true,
sugar on top of it. So
true.
it's one of those things where I know that that can't withstand but so much longer. We can't keep seeing that play over and over and over, and people are actually sitting there like, that's right. The world's like, come on, you just showed us this Caucasian person stealing, and then you showed us a black person stealing, and you say this person is surviving, but this person is looting and destroying and is a thug or hooligan, but this person is strong and resilient to withstand what they're like. People are getting sick of that. I think they're getting sick of it.
Well, I hope they are, because we do need to change the narrative, but we're not in control of media. But I hope they're getting sick of it to the point that, it makes a change,
We're
or
having our
more
say.
independent people come out and provide, promote their own narrative or something.
We're having our say, and I think that having our say and using our voice to you know express what we see or what we think we see until someone comes along and shows us differently, I think we got it. I think we got it. I think there are people out there who care, and people out there who are fed up. And I know for a fact that I know what you're saying about the apartheid might be a bad example, but I feel like that was a painful past for the world of Black people in a whole, not just Africans, but in a whole.
It was
But I felt like no one did anything great to not let that ever happen again. I feel like they,
No, the whole thing did change because they put Mandela in as president and they had, I can't remember that guy's name, but they had them in as co-presidents for a while and then Mandela came. So, you know, I don't know, but I think South Africa in apartheid maybe isn't the best example, but I do understand what you're saying, even with regard to George Floyd, because even in the Gambia, I saw a painting of him on a wall, and I did
Mhm.
see people around the globe. So I do understand what you're saying that perhaps social media is changing things, and maybe that's has a lot to do with why they're censoring so much because
uh,
it does have a global impact.
99.9% of the why they're censoring because they realize people are catching feelings
Mhm.
and they don't like it. They don't like it.
All right, that's topic number one. Topic number two is Dr. Cornell West and Harvard University. What do you think about that current news story?
I mean, I am a fan to the end of Dr. Cornell West. I love everything he talks about. When he speaks, I feel like he touches my soul. And I'm just so upset because he resigned and it's not really out there, but we all are speculating. It's because of censorship again. He says things that they don't want being repeated to the masses, and he's able to speak to those intellectual, intelligent white folks who are willing to listen and then do something about it and change the world. And they don't want that world change. They need to keep breeding the good old boys. And I think that he was changing that. I think he was changing the Ivy League boys, and I think he was letting them know that, if you're going to be part of the problem and not part of the solution, then really what are you? And that critical thinking was not working for them. So I believe they pressured him and put their, as they do, foot on his neck, and he couldn't take. Or I'm not going to say he can't take it because he can pretty much take anything. But I just think that also he knows his knowledge is better served somewhere else. I think he's going to end up at a HBCU or any other college, but I believe that Ivy League, which I'm glad because I actually said that. Like, why isn't this intelligent man at a HBCU? We need that knowledge too. But I saw where he was going with his knowledge. I saw that he was trying to educate that part of life, which I'm also respective. You know how I feel about that. I
He's
feel like
always been, didn't he teach at Princeton before that?
I believe so. I believe
Taught
so.
at Princeton before he went
Yeah.
to Harvard. So the official story that I heard earlier today or some point was that he resigned because Harvard refused to offer him tenure. So
Mhm.
he's been there long enough that he's at the point where he should be getting tenure now. They did not offer him tenure, so he resigned. But even as I was listening to you, I'm thinking also the censorship could be involved because the reason they're not offering tenure is because of the things that he's saying. So it
Absolutely.
still comes right back around
Comes
to
right back around.
wanting to silence or mute him on certain topics.
How
And
would you let someone intelligent like that go? How? Why would you? He has so much to offer.
I stopped following. I used to love Dr. Cornell West. I stopped following him some years back, but it was a time we had a lot of people like Eric Michael Dyson,
I was gonna say Eric
Dr.
Michael
Cornell
Dyson.
West, all of them.
Oh,
I used to
are you?
follow all of them all the
Mhm.
time. I never listen to them anymore,
Oh, I love
but
him.
that doesn't mean I don't respect them. I just don't
Right,
follow them anymore.
right,
But in this vein, I saw an article that a black woman, well, it's not an article, it was a video that a black woman did about that, sort of saying something like what you're saying, that we really need to be careful, not we, but those scholars and
right.
all of us professionals who have skills and education need to be careful about where you're sending it to, because she was saying in the case of Harvard that people, and I'm not saying this is true, I'm just sharing her viewpoint. She
Absolutely.
was saying that people think it's the board of trustees and
Oh, yeah.
people like that who run
Mhm.
the university. She said, but ultimately, it's the alumni
Oh, yeah.
because the
Good
alumni
old boys.
are given the donor dollars
Mhm.
and they'll say something like, oh, okay, you're going to give him tenure. We're not going to fund whatever this year because we don't agree with that. So they will cut him off in order to, white people,
The president is not running the show.
that
No.
dollar bill is so mighty to them. And then that brought to mind also in line with what you're saying there is a woman, her name is Nicole Hannah Jones, and
Mhm.
University of North Carolina offered her a teaching position, and she rejected it. And I think it just says she went to an HBCU, but I think she went to Howard. I'm not sure which one, but I think that people are, and I love this, are beginning to be of the mindset we need to go where we're going to be treated fairly. Like Dr. West, you put in all that time, he's
Mhm.
doing the publishing, that's a requirement for tenure. I'm sure he's meeting all the criteria, bam, 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 bam. But now it's time to make that ultimate decision and you won't pull the trigger. And look, he's stuck. So she's like, no, thank you. I'm
Yeah,
going to go somewhere where they respect me. When my time comes, I at least have a fair shot of getting what I'm doing.
absolutely. And they're
And
born scholars, so they want to teach, but it's like they need to teach at this point in time. I think we need everybody to come back home. I,
And
and
like you're saying too, we need them to teach, yeah, athletes too, but we need them to teach our children too. Our children, HBCU, historically Black, that means the majority of them are Black. I went to Harvard, the majority of them are white. You're not teaching, there's just little few of us that you're teaching, like Professor Derek Bell was there when I was there. Just a little bit of us that he was teaching, but it's really primarily white people. And then that's where I always say it's not our job to educate them. Let's educate ourselves so that we can get going and get ourselves in position.
that's funny you said that because this, not to go off topic real quick, but Tammy and I, we were at a just a regular gymnastics practice, and we were talking about HBCUs, and I'll never forget. Like, it was about 7 or 8 of our white colleague friends or associates. She would never call them
Like
friends.
parents, other parents.
Other parents,
Mhm.
and we were talking, and they said, can we excuse 1 second? What is HBCU? And I never forget the look, and I wish we had brought this up when she was on. Tammy's face dropped like, and I was just
How can
looking.
you not know that?
And I did not even know how to tell them, because I would have went in, she was like, she said just what you said, historically Black college. But I was thinking more so like what it is, not just historic, not just Black, not just college, but how it was founded. And that's what I was thinking about. Like, okay, well, it was colleges, like Ivy League colleges and regular college, who did not let Black kids in and would not give them a good education. And from there, we had to, get our own college. Like, I was going with that. And Tammy just like, nah, we're not educating them. HBCU means historically Black college. And I just remember looking at her going, do we educate them? Do we?
Yeah, like go look it up.
Yeah, and that's basically
Figure it
what
out.
it was left with. Like, go look it up. But I really wanted to educate and was like, let them know how it derived, but we didn't do
I agree. I've always been of the viewpoint that the time for educating anybody else is past.
yeah.
We need our resources back. We need our professionals back around,
Mhm.
our students, so they can have an example to look up to, see the best. Like you said, imagine the brilliance of a
Mhm.
Dr. Cornell West at North Carolina A&T or
Yeah.
something like that, and all the Morehouse and all those brilliant young minds coming through and coming into contact and having access to him as a mentor. The
Mhm.
bright and the cream of the crop, usually get references from professors,
Mhm.
recommendations. So that's a whole world that's been closed off to our kids because, but that is the tradition, that is the trajectory of Black America.
Yeah.
We were segregated because we had to be. Then the doors opened and we went running in because we had never been able to go. And now we're all, I've done it a little earlier, but
And the money, they offer more money than what normally, a Black position could give
that's
you. So it was kind of like they knew what to do to get you.
and the prestige. It's one thing to say I teach at Harvard. Well, to us, see, I'm Black oriented. To me, if you say you teach at Spelman or Morehouse, I'm still going to be like, what?
And that
But
I
the
believe
other people that
changed, because I'm like that too. Like, it doesn't impress me to say you're at Princeton, Harvard, or any of those Ivy League. It doesn't impress. I believe when I was way younger, definitely. Oh my God, that would have been a dream for me to be that intelligent. But now that I'm older, it doesn't even like that. What? Like you said, Spelman, Clark, Morehouse, Howard University. you know, all of those colleges.
I think it was beneficial for us to go to those universities, to have that experience,
Mhm.
to show them, no, dear, we're not affirmative action babies. We run circles around you mentally, okay?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
have a seat. I think all that was important, but I think what we need now is as a race is that unity and
Mhm.
that coming together and sharing our knowledge with each other. The only one thing I have a concern about, because I keep hearing people talk about coming together in our own towns. And we can't, I'm not comfortable with that because we know how many they burned down, sunk under rivers and all that. So I'm like, I don't know what the answer to that part is, but I don't know about gathering all
So
in one.
painful. That knowledge and that history, man, I'm telling you, it is painful. When I saw how many towns they sunk, it was like, okay, we knew about two, I think, and then after that, this girl put a whole collage video together, and it was like 15.
But did you see all the towns they burned? The only ones we really know about are probably Rosewood
Rosewood and
and
Black Wall
Black
Street.
Wall Street. There's a whole map. There
There's
was
a whole
Wilmington.
map.
They have
Yeah.
broken apart. They're just so. I
And
mean,
that's why I said with Africa going back, like we have to tear it down like they did and rebuild it because they were thriving towns.
I don't know, Tora. I guess we're going to see. I mean, I think that we have a lesson. Well, it's a little different. I think that burning down we shouldn't be on that anymore, but I think that burning down white businesses in South Africa is different than how they rioted here and burned down the buildings in the establishments in their own
Oh
community.
no, I'm
So
totally
we'll have
against
to
that.
see how all that plays out. It
Oh
may.
no, I'm totally against destroying your home. I'm totally against destroying your very own home. That's like cutting off your nose to spite your face. No, I'm saying if there is a organization that is not hiring you, not educating you, not feeding you, and it literally is imprisoning you and it's standing in your way of trying to accomplish your goals and dreams, okay, yeah, let's get rid of it. Get it out of here.
Okay. I mean, hey, I don't know. We're going to see what the aftermath is. I don't know, but it is true that most of those businesses would have to just by definition be white owned because those are the people with the economic resources there. I
But
did
I'm
see
talking
some
about the
black
ones that are
people
not
crying.
giving back. If you know that there's a company that gives, I mean, half of everything back to help the Black colleges, help Black communities with, bringing whole foods into your community, fruits and vegetables that are, yeah, why would you want to destroy that? But I'm talking about a company that's, suppressing you and oppressing you. Yeah, get it out of here. Get it out. No, we don't want you here. If in the United States, we have those companies. That
That's pretty
red
much
red
every company.
zone, what is it called? Redlining, red zoning,
That's pretty much every corporation in the United States is doing stuff like that. I don't know any benevolent, well, not any large
Mhm,
corporations, but
mhm.
I mean, you know, I don't know. So I guess we'll see if we have a trend of more Black professors in light of what happened with Dr. West, in
Mhm.
light of this professor, what was her name? Nicole Hannah Jones.
Mhm.
If we see more, it would be beautiful if we see more prominent scholars
Mhm.
saying, I'm going to HBCUs to educate my people. And then I know they keep talking about the athletes. Is that a possibility? Is that a thing or
It
is
is
it a
starting.
dream?
No, it is literally starting. They are saying, and it's for so many reasons I just found out that they are coming back home. It's
Really?
so many reasons. They're
Okay.
saying that they were trying to make some of the African American brothers feminine, making them do feminine things. And they're like, no, we're not losing our masculinity messing around with y'all. So, you know, I mean, this is just what I'm hearing on social media. You
Okay.
get everything with a grain of salt, but from what I'm hearing on social media, this is why some of the brothers are returning back home to
Okay.
their home base.
I'm all for it. Come back for whatever reason you need to come back, just come back and
Yeah,
let's get it popping. Because we're gonna have all the best football, basketball, all the best teams because we have such athletic prowess. And so it just would be good if we could reunite like
that would
that.
be beautiful.
And
And
then, like
like
I always say, get those hotels and stuff. Just get our own stuff. We don't have to be
that.
discriminated against. We don't have to have you kicking us out of your restaurant. Let's just focus on what can we build among ourselves. But let's don't concentrate everything in one little area. Let's
No.
spread out so that they can't just wipe us out, in one fell swoop. No, we're not all over there. Some here, some there, some
And see,
everywhere.
that's how I feel about like I'm pro black, but I'm not trying to push out any other race. It's just like if you want to come, you gotta respect. Like your dollar has to be in our community. Your medicine has to be your fruits and fine vegetables and education has to be in our community. You can't say, well, we're keeping it for ourselves anymore. Like, I just think that's not knowledge based.
I
There are great
think
Asian scientists.
that's such a mature position to have. I don't have that position because we have been at the bottom of the totem pole for so long. My thing is get away from us. Let us get it together and raise up to a level where we can communicate and negotiate with you on a level playing field. It's really hard to get yourself together when other people are always in your mix. We just need some time to get it together. But I think your attitude is very mature, and hey,
I
I
mean,
can't
just
say
because
anything about it.
see I do see other races, um, or other nationalities fighting with us in this trench, and I guess my sympathy doesn't go out that far, but if it does go further than, most people, it goes to, you have some people out here who are really like, I mean, when I read the comments, I mean, these people are like, are you kidding me? Like, how come I did not know this? Why didn't my parents tell me this? Why didn't they teach me this in school? And that's where I fall like, you probably wouldn't even be the way you were, or you wouldn't even act the way, or you could change history if we tell you and teach you how not
Well,
to
I
be.
don't feel that we need to do that, but I just say there's room for everybody. The only thing I will say is I have seen and been reminded of those people who are really for us from other races. But why can't they do something over there? Why is it always such a problem when Black people want to do something by themselves? There are Jewish schools and temples and stuff. Every other group can do whatever they want. As soon as we start doing stuff, everybody's having a friggin' cardiac arrest. Go over there and help us and let us get it. I just want us to have some space to get our house in order. But anyway, we're done. Next topic, 15 minutes, designer clothing.
Yay.
I wanted to talk about that because if there was a time when pretty much that's all I ever really bought was designer clothing, and not necessarily always with a logo on it. There are things you'll look at and they have the label on the inside you would never know.
Uh-huh.
But nowadays, I am so anti logo designer clothes. Like if I see something and it might have been cute, I'll be like, I'm not about to go walking around as a free advertising
Oh, yeah.
board
Oh, yeah.
for Michael. I don't even want to name them for
No, no,
whoever these
right.
designers are. This is not what I'm going to do. And so I'm like really anti logo designer. I don't know how I feel. I think it might be okay if it's a designer and there's not logo everywhere and it's just something they made and I get it for a good price, because that's another thing I'm not doing. I'm no longer going to pay you 5 times the price for the same leather bag, the same sweater that costs 1/5 of the price just because your designer company made it. I'm not on board with any of that, but I used to be. If you look in my closet, most of that stuff is designer clothing. I am not going to do that anymore.
That's well, I'm not there yet. My dreams are
Keep
still
it real.
my dreams are still designer down. I love designer. I mean, I'm not a label person. And I'm one thing for certain. I do not wear anyone who is once rumored, but then it has been proven to have said something racist about us wearing or drinking or eating their product. I will not. They will never get my money.
I don't really know who
If
those
you
are.
are racist, you better keep it to yourself if you want my dollar, because I will not. And that one with the MC, no, 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 no. Like,
MC,
and well, I'm not even, I'm
MK.
no, no, I didn't even want to say the original, the real
Yeah,
last.
I remember the boot. Let's go like this. I remember the boots.
Hmm.
I remember the American designer from New York that we all were wearing, and they say it's a rumor, but they say he just flat out said it.
Yeah.
I remember somebody connected with Anderson Cooper who said it. There are
Mhm.
like maybe four or three that I know of, but I have a
And,
feeling you
and
know more
you're,
than I
right.
do.
You're right. And when that happened, those people who you just named, I will never
Me,
buy into that attire.
I wouldn't even wear it if they give
I
it to
wouldn't
me.
even, no, I
If
couldn't.
they just give it to me, I'll be like, pass. I
Yeah,
don't need it.
no, thank you. But yeah, once it's been rumored and then it's been proven, and I know this one company, very large company, I won't say the name, but it was rumored that they had done something, but it wasn't the company. It was someone who they hired that worked there who just was really trying to.
Oh, I remember. Oh, it was horrible. It was
Yeah, and
very recent.
that person literally came there to try to sabotage that company because
Oh,
it
I
was the.
never heard the
Yeah,
follow
and
up.
once they did the
Okay.
investigation and found out that that person came in the company, did what they did to work their way into that position just to sabotage that company for another company, literally. And
I
so once
never
they
heard
did
the
that,
backstory that
yep.
you're telling, but I remember there was a visual like, oh my God, they didn't do that, did they?
And I even knew that was too much, so I knew it had to be something behind it. So I stayed on it just because I really liked that company. And then when I found, I said, I believe that. I
Because
believe that.
even TI was boycotting them, right?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I remember that.
Yep.
It was
And the
crazy
reason
then.
why is because people do that to me on social media. People will come onto my page, complain, and try to cancel me, and I did nothing to get canceled at
Oh,
all. And they normally fix it and rewrite the wrong that
mhm.
someone. But people who will look at my content and they will say on their page, she doesn't deserve to have the followers. She doesn't deserve to have the likes. And I'm just like, flat out, you said that. You really said that. You came out your mouth and said, I don't deserve something
That you created.
that I
That
created.
you built that. Can
So
they build it? Do they have a similar platform?
I could never figure out how someone actually thought if I am removed or someone else is removed, that's going to make a place for you. That's not how it works. You're not, they're not looking for you. So why are you doing this? I mean,
Right.
I don't know. I
If
just,
they are looking for you, go build your own, but don't try to tear down mine. How about that?
clearly they can't. Clearly they can't build their own. So I know that there are people out there that will try to sabotage someone else's content just because.
And you're saying that at the time when it occurred, you knew that it was so blatant that it couldn't be what we thought it
Yeah,
was?
it couldn't.
And
I
the
mean,
company
you
didn't give
go
a good
to.
response. The
Mhm.
company did not give a good response to make us feel okay about it.
I think the campaign of the response wasn't as wide as it should have been, and I'm assuming that had something to do with branding. But it tanked. Like their stock dropped drastically. It did not have an impact. Like it wasn't like, well, maybe nothing. No bad press is really bad
Oh,
press.
no
Like
press
no,
is bad press. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, no, no, no. It was bad. It was bad. So definitely they definitely explained and apologized, got rid of that person, and tried to move forward with better branding. But I think they're still wounded from it, but you know what I mean.
So you're still into designer clothes? That's still your thing?
I am still into gold. I mean, gold
Oh,
jewelry,
jewelry, you mean?
gold, like
Well, that's different.
real
That's
gold
different.
jewelry, and I'm still into designer everything, shoes, frames, clothes. That is my and I mean, I'm not even like a label person either. Like
I used to be.
this is a label shirt that I have on, but you wouldn't even know it because it's art. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So I liked it for the art of it, but no, I'm not a label. I don't believe
Why
in.
is it that you're still, what is it, not even why, what is it that is so appealing to you about the designer brands?
Um, I like the quality. I've always liked the quality. I like the pieces. That they do have. I like what it goes. I mean, what you can pair it with, or like you can wear something really inexpensive and pair it with something really expensive, and that whole outfit looks high end. I mean, I'm one of those people because I will wear a $500 pair of shoes with a $10 shirt and $5 pair of pants, and the whole outfit looks like it costs over $2,000. So
There is something to be said about quality. I will say that I do like the feel of things and the way they lay, like the silhouette,
yeah,
how they flow and stuff. But I'm gonna have to. Well, again, I said I haven't really fully formed it, but I'm telling you, if there's an emblem or a print or whatever, I'm not buying it now. If it's in my closet,
mhm,
it would be pretty foolish of me to just not wear
yeah,
it or use it. So
yeah.
I will, but I will not add anything else with a visible designer logo on
Now
it.
my
Uh,
kids are like that. My kids don't. I mean, they might buy like maybe one pair of designer shoes to go with stuff,
they don't like the purses.
but they like the purses, but they don't even spend that. Like I've pretty much bought, and I bought all their purses for them. But I think my daughter bought like a Tory Burke purse, but it was, I'm not even sure if it's real. It might even be a knockoff.
That's okay.
But
Get a
but
knockoff. I don't care.
right,
Half the
but
time you can't even tell
that's the type of
anyway.
labels they like and or she likes, but they don't really, they like the boutiques that you see on, the they pop
Internet
up.
boutiques.
Yeah, the
My
pop up.
daughter likes those too, and she looks quite fly with
Yeah,
those clothes on. I'm all for it. I'm
yeah.
all for it. But I mean, she shops the way I shop. So we used to do the designer thing, but she does. I don't see her fooling with it too much. My son has never cared as long as the outfit looks good.
Mhm.
He
That's
has
my
his own
son.
style. As long as it flows, he could care less about the label. So I'm
I have literally bought my son like the most expensive pair of shoes. I try to give him like expensive shoes for like holidays and birthdays and stuff, but he will not. He is the Walmart, you
Well,
know,
my son won't go to Walmart,
oh,
but he doesn't care about designer.
he is the, I mean, he will shop at like the Goodwill, the
Well,
consignment
that's
shop.
nice.
Oh my,
Oh,
he does
good.
not believe in spending money on, like he bought this really nice coat, winter coat. It was wool, but it was really nice. And he's like, Ma, I got this for $10. And when I looked it up online, the original price was like $450. I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, where'd you get
Now,
it?
I don't know if my son's still doing it, but in my mind, he was spending a heck of a lot of money. He does not care if it's designer, but he likes to dress well and he will spend his
He
money
dresses
on that.
very nice.
So, thank you.
Very.
So I'm hoping that he is not as into that. There was a time when he was just buying it.
Mhm.
Hopefully he has slowed down, but at least it's not designer. At least it's his own aesthetic, and
That's good
that's
because you
okay.
never know where it might, lead him, you know?
Who knows what these kids might end up doing? Their future is so wide open. Whatever you start off with, you may end up in that lane. You may end up in another lane. I don't know.
Love fashion. I love designer clothes. I love it all. I'm a fan. I'm a
And
big
that's
fan.
okay. I mean, I love that you're being straight up 100 about it, but it's a moral conscious thing for me. Like I'm just not going to participate. Now, perhaps if I have the option of knowing some really great black designers,
Oh,
I'm not a big fan of Kanye's aesthetic. But
mhm.
if I knew more black designers, remember we used to have Carl
Oh
Kanai and
yeah.
all that.
Oh
If
yeah.
I knew some more black designers, I think I might be
All
willing. I'm
nine,
sorry, I have to
Fubu,
leave this
Fat
room.
Farm, Baby Fat, all of those.
Oh yeah, remember I used to
Mhm.
wear Baby Fat and Fat Farm.
Yeah, me
Used
too.
to wear
34th Street.
Fubu.
Yep,
They
Rocco.
were all, but they were all urban. But they were all urban. You
Hmm.
know who's a really good, well, I don't know anymore, but who used to be a top black designer that was slept on? Sean Puffy Combs.
Oh
He
yeah.
was out there winning awards
Hmm.
with haute couture.
Hmm.
He was rocking the game, but
Absolutely.
I don't know where it's. I just am out of that now. I have gradually gotten out of it anyway, and now with my whole mentality, I just feel it's not the thing that I should do.
Like I'm never gonna go broke for anything. That's
Mhm,
just not my style as
mhm.
far as buying anything. If I have it to spare, I will get it. I will never try and go make it just to get something. That's never gonna be it.
Try
So
and go make it. What do you mean?
like, you know how someone will actually like, sell, something extraordinary to go buy something. I would never do
Oh.
that.
You
Yeah.
know what is really would be nice because because I do like fashion.
Mhm.
And so one of my favorite shows, which I haven't seen any seasons of, like
Project Runway.
Project
That's
Runway. If I
a
could get some of those young design, they kill the game. I don't need an established designer. If I can get some of them to get me some innovative, fashions, I
Mhm.
would do that in a heartbeat. In a
Absolutely.
heartbeat.
I think there was quite a few.
That's I'm glad that we did talk about that and that we see that we're still in, that we're in two different places there. But I think that, people are where they are and it's okay. We're different. And so
Right.
I think that's all
Absolutely.
right. All right. So with a minute and a half left, I guess we can move on to our last and final topic, which is date culture. Among, in my mind at least, among African Americans, but I'm willing, of course, to extend that to anybody you want to discuss it about. But I think that our African American males, I
Free.
don't want to talk about all of them, but I want to talk about the majority of them who have sucked up the programming and drank the Kool-Aid. In fact, I'm starting to see on social media other Black males checking their brethren saying, you guys have been so busy
Mhm.
doing what mass media has told you, dogging women, trying to run game on a harem, always talking about doing your brother or some other man's woman. And now it's devolved to the point that you got the Megan, the Stallions, and all them talking about running game on brothers. And then they're saying, now you want to be upset. But you've been doing this to them for so long. Why didn't you think that they would turn around and do it to you? I just think that we need our
We're
men
lost.
we need our men to put down the foolishness and raise up and
Mhm.
be men. Some of the things that I see people going through when they're trying to date our men, even older men,
Yeah.
not just 20-year-olds,
Yeah.
40, 50-year-old fools. And I'm like, what is wrong with you guys? I'm at a loss for what is happening. Again, not all of them, but many, very many.
I mean, I'm a witness. I believe that we have lost, and once again, I think it's a fairy tale out there for these men because on social media that pops up on their phone, I literally got a text today that said, "Meet me for casual sex." I
A
literally
brother me deleted that. I mean, sent that to you.
someone from like a mass site, I guess, it literally said meet me for casual sex and it was a .com. So I was like, when I clicked on it, because I wanted to forward it to the FBI, I clicked on it and there was a woman that said, fill out this information and you to continue on, da, 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 and you could be find locals in your area. And I thought that was the sickest thing I'd ever seen that I was like, how does this even, and it was like 15 numbers attached with no name to this. Like I was in a group text with
Mm.
15 other numbers. And I was just like, how did my number even generate? So I text, this will be sent to the FBI. And I did forward it to the FBI, like I do. I know they get sick of me, but I was like, this is getting sent to the FBI.
You
So I
always stuff
urge
to the
you
FBI all the time.
always. Oh, like I said, I know they're sick of me. And I said, do not ever send anything like this to me ever again. You're sick and perverted. So I said that. So I didn't get any
Two
more
things
texts.
with that though. One thing, as soon as you said that to me, it alarmed me because that kind of thing can be used to set people up for sex trafficking or human
You
trafficking.
think?
For sure.
You,
No, but I mean, really, like
I mean,
snatching
really, I
people.
believe that too.
Because also, though, there is a hookup culture.
Mhm.
And I think when I first learned about it was with Tinder and stuff. So that also could be a social media site that is for hooking up. But I would just be concerned
And
about
that's what I'm saying has desensitized It's not just even pornography anymore. It is desensitized because there are apps now where a man can just plug in and say he wants the hookup, he wants oral sex, he wants anal sex, he wants sex, and just get it. I don't know if he has to pay for it or some horny woman is out there desperate for it, but it's sick and it's messed up women in their relationships that want a good man, and it's messed up good men who used to be good men, but they're acting like dogs now. Like when a woman gets a really good man who's solid and is like, look, I'm letting you know I am not about that life, you still sit there and think like,
How many times have we heard of some sister we know who met a brother who gave them that whole story,
yeah,
and they let their
pastors,
guard down and gave the
pastors,
brother the benefit of the doubt, and then he's just typical
just as
dog.
trifling as the rest of them.
Dog.
You've got preachers, pastors, clergy. You've got people who are supposed to be of the cloth are in on all of this stuff. You know, you're like you're on gay sites. You're what? You're a married man in the church, and then the world wants you to be like, oh, we need to be more accepted. I'm not going down that road with you. I'm not going to
I
be more
just think
accepted.
that black men need to be willing to have a one-on-one relationship, or they need to be upfront and honest and say, I don't want that. And you're going to have to share me, because you know why? Some women will share them.
Oh, they
Other,
have the
and,
polyamory
and
thing.
the women who are not willing to do that, give them the opportunity to say, look, I have I have had friends where the man is professing to be so into them, all this and that, and then won't even really call.
I've
I
had
mean,
friends
how
that
can
are
they
on
work?
dating apps that have told me that same story that they met this guy. Oh my God, he seems so nice. And then I'm like, okay, well, what was up with so and so? He hasn't called in weeks. I'm like, what? But he was all over her the night they dated and the night they called, and then just fall right off. I'm like, how emotionally detached do you have to be? There was no, hey, look, this is not working. I mean, I went back to my so and so, or, I don't want to lead you on. But no, there's just, they just, what they call leave it on red. My kids say leave them on red.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they say
So
that. My kids say that. I think, just for me personally, I think a big part of it is the media. I
I
have to
agree.
say,
I
I
agree.
think a big part of it, if you watch any of those reality shows, every man on there, matter of fact, I stopped watching some of them because every brother on there was a cheater, was trying to run game. Every rap song is about effing your B. I effed your B and I didn't even know her.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And I got hoes in every area code and
Yeah.
all that. And so they have made black men think that it's exceptional to be running game on women. And what they're doing is destroying the men and the women and the families, because how can you win when your men are behaving in that manner?
And
It's
that's
one.
why I know when a lot of people see me and my family as a couple in a relationship, I never want to give people like a fake picture of my life. I let everyone know that it is horribly a struggle trying to keep this black family together. It is
Mhm.
beyond a struggle, but it's so many demons. No one's for, I'm not saying my friends and my loved ones, but when I say the world outside of that bubble is not for us. They don't want to see it. They have tried so many. I'm a thoroughbred and I'm born that way. So I haven't had anyone try to tear me apart and try to come at me. I believe they've tried to go after my husband so many times. And I'm not calling him weak, but he's the weaker one of us. And so
He's
he's
the
let
weaker,
them,
he's the
he's
weakest
the
link.
weaker one of, yeah, he's giving them the time in the day. I
Mhm.
don't give anybody the time in the day. As soon as I even think you might be going in that direction, I will cut you off. I have no problem with that. That means nothing to me. I mean, girlfriends, anyone, I will cut you off if I even think that you're going in that direction. And I mean, I have
In the direction of what?
of
Trying to break
trying
up your
to
family?
not just breaking up, but trying to separate me. You know what I mean?
From your
Trying to
spouse?
separate me. Like I love support. I love my support system. I have a fantastic girlfriend support system with you and my friend Talisa and Tammy. Excellent. They y'all know exactly how I feel at the moment I'm talking. And I have other girlfriends. Well, I had other girlfriends who would capitalize off of that, you know? And
Oh,
it's like, no, 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 don't do that to me. I'm not that person, you know? Like, don't kick me while I'm down. Like, I need you to just hold me up. Let me know I got this. Let me know whatever decision I'm gonna make, you got my back.
right.
Don't kick, because I know I'm a ride or die. You know,
Right.
I'm a ride or die.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to do. If you want to go put a Snicker in his gas tank, we can do that. Or if you want,
That's what I
you
say.
want
You
to,
want to stay
you
and
know
work
what I
it
mean?
out? We can make
You
that
want to get a
happen.
hotel
I
room,
mean,
you
like
want to put
whatever
some
you want
roses
to
on
do.
the bed for you, I will do that for you. Whatever you want, I'm riding with you.
Right.
Because I know it's not easy trying to maintain a relationship.
Right.
I mean, you're two totally different people with totally different cells and DNA. And then you got this world we live in who's not supportive of
And
relationship.
constantly attacking and constantly attacking. And you know, I do hear the undercurrent too. There is a whole subclass of women who I do not know what is wrong with them, but it appears that if a man is married, then they are even more. They may not want him if he were single,
No,
but
they
if
don't.
he's married, I don't know if it's an ego trip. I don't know what it
It's
is.
all of the above. It's literally, oh, he's married. How dare he be married and I'm not? And how dare she's able to have something I don't? And then there is, I just want whatever's left over. So if she's nagging or if she's tired or if she's not there for him, I want to pick up those pieces and run with them. It's like, are you freaking crazy?
But you know what? I did have a relative tell me she was dating a married man, which I never condone, but you know, she's grown.
Mm-hmm.
And so she said she told him, well, he wasn't married, he was living with a woman. And so he wasn't married, but he was in a relationship. And she said she told him, don't leave her. Because, you know, she said, Kim, I've already had all that. I don't want to wash his clothes. I don't want to cook his meals. I don't want to do that. When I see him, I want us to go out, have a great time, spend
I've heard
money,
women say that to
whatever,
me.
and go on back home to her for all of that BS that I don't want to do. And
I've heard women say that to me as a married woman. I've heard, and I said, how sick are you? Who the hell wants you up on their man's private parts? What, are you sick? Like, I don't want that. No, you
right,
gonna take all of that. You gonna get
right.
it whether you want it or not, because I don't want it. Like, that to me is just, I never would be accused, and I've never wanted another woman's man ever. And
Ever.
that
Ever.
doesn't
As soon
seem
as
to
you
be
come
my,
out that you got a woman in the background, because for one thing, I believe in karma. I
oh
don't want
yeah.
that karma. And I feel like when I'm in a relationship where I'm really vibing and having a great time, the last thing I want is that kind of crap coming back and some woman trying to interfere with
I
that.
had to tell a
I
couple
don't
of
want
women
it.
that. I'm like, boy, when you decide to fall in love, you do know that your day is coming. You know, there was this woman who I never will forget. It was many many years ago, but this woman was on her deathbed, and the other woman would come into the room with the husband. And I used to say to her, "Why are you doing that?" I'm like, "That." Well, she doesn't know I'm there. I said, "I'm gonna just let you know. Don't you never get sick. Don't you never, ever, ever, ever get sick, because he already let you know what he's gonna do to you. Because
Mm.
it's gonna be even worse what you
They
doing
do
to her."
say that whatever he did with you, now my grandmother used to say that whatever he does with you, he will surely do it to you.
Oh yeah.
So if he does
Oh,
that with you to that other woman, baby, there's gonna come a day when he will do it to you to
absolutely.
somebody else.
And
Yeah.
I always said that would be your measurement of a man if he even allowed that. Like, that doesn't even, you don't look at him and think like, well, he did that to her, but I'm too good. He will never do.
Not
Really?
how it
Is that
works.
what you think? That's
It's
not
not
how it
how it
works.
works.
That's not
But
how
you know, I just think that as a general principle, we need more bro. And I've been seeing it on YouTube and whatever places, I don't know, TikTok, everywhere, really. Some very conscious brothers saying we need to reevaluate the way we think about and treat our women, and we are misguided. The things that we think make us so much of a man actually don't. They make us of no value to our women and our children.
I need to, because
I
I would
need to
get to
see that.
Derek Jackson. I would send my husband all kind of posts that he would post, and I'd be like, "You need to be like this man. He's got it going on." Then
You
come
see,
find out he was swinging low and riding high. Like,
yep,
are you
yep.
kidding? And he laughed at me. He was like, ah, That's your boy, Derek Jack. No, why you don't send me no more texts with him? I'm like, oh Lord. I haven't sent him any more. I'm like, okay, I'm done.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
So embarrassing. And I literally said to him, I was like, you are an embarrassment. I do not ever accept an apology from you. I cannot even believe you would deceive people like that. We literally thought we had one on our side. So now, I mean, I know, Kevin,
Girl,
Samuel.
I don't even watch him, but I'm talking about some conscious brothers who are talking about the spiritual impact of mating with a man with a woman, of connecting, and just saying that the power is between that
I
union
agree. I've
and
heard men
all
say
of
that.
that.
And I
Well,
heard that they're
I
saying,
don't know what Derek Jackson was saying, so I don't know if he was going down that road or if I don't
he
know.
was, but
He was trying to be conscious with it.
he was very conscious. He spoke conscious. He had knowledge, and people would confide in him, and he would tell them how the issue should be and what a woman should feel and how it should. And he literally had us all going. And I didn't
Well, I
think
didn't even know him
I
until
did
he
not think he was
got out.
attractive, and I kept telling my husband there was nothing attractive. It was his words and his knowledge that I thought
You
he.
didn't think he was attractive?
I didn't. That's not my.
I thought he was. See, I never heard a word about him until he got outed. That's
Oh,
when I never followed him. I didn't know. And when I saw, I was like, yeah, well, he's a good looking brother, but there are a lot of good looking brothers.
mhm,
It's not enough to have a good body or, have somebody. There are a lot of brothers like that. I mean, like, I don't want any of that F boy stuff in my
right,
life.
no, right, right,
I just don't.
right.
I'd rather just not. But
Yeah,
I do see the sister struggling because even the ones who seem like nerdy or geeky,
mhm.
it's like a whole mentality that all the brothers think that they have to be running game on women. I
And
don't
my
get
thing
it.
is this: if, like you were saying with the soul ties, I really believe that when you lay down with so many different people and those that fluid is exchanged, it definitely messes up your soul tie. And I really believe that. And I think you can break it. You can break it in a marriage and you can break it in a relationship. And I don't believe you get it back. I don't know what period that you have to go through or what you have to do to get it back. But I think once you break a soul tie with someone, I don't think that you and that person can ever get that back. I mean, that's just my beliefs. Maybe it
I
has.
mean, I know that the spiritual people say there are some things you can do, but the one thing you got to do is cut it out.
Yeah,
You have to
yeah,
cut out that behavior,
yeah.
tame your eye, and then maybe one could work on that. But you can't get rid of it and still be doing the same daggone thing. It
I
doesn't
don't
work
because
that
I've
way.
spoken to a lot of elderly couples about how did they stay married and dating, and pretty much all of them have that same pattern. You have to learn to forgive. You shouldn't ever go to bed mad, and you've got to be able to communicate. And I'm like, I don't know. I think it's a little bit more than that. I think spiritually
All
you have to
right.
connect.
Well, there's our timer. So we've hit all four of our topics. And so that does it for this episode. Are there any parting words that you want to share before we wrap?
No, I just love the way we're doing this now. I think it is a lot smoother and we're able to hit on a lot of different topics. So a lot of people will be able to have a lot of things to, hear us say and have our opinion on.
That's great. I feel the same way. I think it's refreshing and new and I'm enjoying it. And I just like to take a moment to thank everyone for joining us as always in our podcast.
Thank you. And I want to close by saying thank you for kicking it with Kimm and Torra. Please like, subscribe, and definitely pass it on. Tell everyone to join us. See
Okay.
you next
Good
time.
night.